Hello and welcome to the 5 free EdTech tools that will ignite engagement in your classroom. Why these tools? They are free and user-friendly. I am one that will not use a tool if I have to take more than 20, 30 minutes figuring it out. I also really like free tools. There are some paid tools that I like, but these ones are all free today. They provide quick data for you, and then every student is responsible for their own learning. So what I mean by that is that all of the students in your class understand because they are responsible to give an answer for something, okay? So it's not just Johnny in the front that keeps raising his hand and he knows all the answers, right? But it's the ones that maybe are too shy to raise their hand. Maybe they don't understand. And this data will be able to show you that and show you which students need a little more help in learning more about your lesson. So who am I? My name is JC Erickson. Just real quick about me. I have the business Integrated. I'm a technology integrator. I do in-person and remote support for pre-K through 12 educators. So basically that means that I go into schools and I get to work directly with the teachers on integrating technology in their classroom. So we work really on anything technology, and I'm able to be there when they try a new lesson in the classroom, kind of like a fly on the wall if tech goes wrong, or I'm able to introduce the technology to the students, and then the teacher matches it to the lesson, and we kind of team teach it to make that happen in the classroom. Schools use me in a number of ways of technology integration, but the in-person is really cool because I'm able to ease the mind of the teacher and really help when starting a lesson and using a new technology. And we just kind of ease all those fears, creates a lot of confidence in the teachers, and it's a lot of fun. So that's my in-person. Remote support, I'm also able to be like your tech hotline. This didn't work. Not so much fixing things, that's our tech coordinators that do that. It's more so, something went wrong in the app or something didn't happen like you thought it was supposed to with an app that you learned from me or a tool. And how do we troubleshoot that? So you're able to call me, text me, that sort of thing when you need support with tech integration. So some schools just do the remote support, so their teachers have a tech hotline basically, and some schools do a combination of remote support and in-person support. I also have the Teacher Tech Center, which schools can join or individual teachers can join, and that is live technology integration workshops that are done throughout the month. It's also live technology integration support. So I have office hours in there where I'm literally on a Zoom call, and you can bring your technology integration questions into that Zoom call and we can troubleshoot it together. So it's really great because I can share my screen, you can share your screen, and you can show me exactly what's going on, and we get your individual questions answered. Because it's great to come to professional development and then you bring it back to your classroom and you run into an issue. And then it's like, how do I do this? If I could only ask, that presenter a question. And you can jump on those live office hours, you can email me, text or call, and we can get those questions answered when you're a part of the Teacher Tech Center. It also has technology integration courses in there. I work with UND on getting courses up for teachers, and of course, then you're going to get credit for those, so you get access to those. And then hopefully coming soon, host of the Every Teacher Tech Ready podcast, and trying to get that launched. Life just happens all around. So isn't quite there yet, but if you are a podcast listener, that's hopefully coming up. And Every Teacher Tech Ready, you can also check that out on Facebook. We have a group where I post those free resources there. So along with being a technology integrator, I'm a mom, Midwest gal. I have 3 little boys, twin 5-year-olds and a 2-year-old. So we are busy. And then North Dakota born and raised. So I'm right here, right where this conference is being hosted. So excited to be with you today. And yeah, so we'll just keep going with that. If you have any questions, I'll put my contact information at the end so you can feel free to email me. Cool. So let me keep going. So these 5 EdTech engagement tools, we are going to talk about Flipgrid, and you maybe have heard of some of these, you maybe have not. The one down in the bottom corner here, this is Formative. It used to be Go Formative, so you may have heard of that. Then we have Edpuzzle. I love Edpuzzle. This is a go-to because it's quick and easy. You can get a lesson really quickly up with Edpuzzle. Pear Deck, great add-on for Google Slides. We'll jump into that a little bit. And then Classroom Screen. So this one has a little less data per se, but it's a really great teacher tool for engagement. So I think this is the only one that doesn't give you the best data, but you will get the data probably live in your classroom with Classroom Screen. So I did include it in here. So we're going to go to Formative first. And I'll always put the website up here to start. This is the name of it, Formative. And now it's goformative.com. So this is going to be great for digital formative assessments, really quick. Do they understand? Do they get it? You're able to see the real-time student responses. So that's a great feature in Formative. You also can create worksheets or quizzes. And I love that you can annotate over documents or pictures. So sometimes we have a worksheet that is in PDF form, and we would normally pass it out paper copy. And let's say you're in a digital world and you need to make that digital. Formative, you're able to put questions on top of pictures or on top of documents exactly where you want them to be. And I'll show you an example of that in a few minutes when we jump into these tools live. But it's just really great for that. And you're able to see those live student responses. You can join by code, by Microsoft, or by Google. So Formative, digital formative assessments, worksheets, quizzes, really quick, real-time student responses. They can annotate over documents and pictures. Okay. We're going to continue going over through all these, and then we'll go look at them live. All right, so now we've got Flipgrid, and this is just flipgrid.com. This is video responses. So if you want students to be able to actually come on video and explain what they know or demonstrate what they know, then this is really great. So Flipgrid, quick and safely share videos. And when I mean safely, it's super safe. The things that they make you set up, there's some setup in this. It's very safe because it goes in by the domain name. So the @yourschoolname.google.com or whatever it is, right? They only let that specific domain join your classes. So there is some setup in Flipgrid. The interface is a lot like popular social media platforms. So students really get excited about that when they see it. They're able to have the video running, and then they're able to put captions on top or stickers on top, and they get really excited about this. And as the teacher, we just really want to know, do they understand the material? And if we just want them to talk about what they know or demonstrate what they know, and a video would be really great for that, cool. Then Flipgrid would be an awesome choice for you. And then they get to jazz it up with the text and the stickers, and that gets them really excited, right? So students can join by code. So either then Google or Microsoft. You need to have an authorized domain, and that's that @whatever their email address is at the end. You can do Flipgrid accounts if you don't want them to have the code. And then teachers, you either need a Google or Microsoft login to get in. So let's go on to the next one. Edpuzzle. This is making any video interactive. Okay, so take any video, your own video, YouTube videos, Khan Academy videos, and you're able to put questions inside of the video as it plays. So first minute and a half plays, and then a question will come up. Got a fly wandering around here. He's just added entertainment, I guess. So we've got a question that pops up. Students have to answer that question before they can move on. So this can be done as a class live, where everybody's answering on their own device, or this can be done individually, where a student would watch the video on their own, answer the questions on their own, and then the teacher gets all that data. So 2 different ways that can be done, and both of them are super effective. It just depends on what your lesson is asking for that day. Sometimes I'll have teachers do a live video of one all together as a class. Students are answering, using it as formative assessment. So they kind of gauge where the class is at, what they understand, what they don't understand. And then they'll assign another video for the students to do on their own as the actual assignment. And then the other thing that I really like about Edpuzzle is that it stops and makes the students really think about the information they just learned. Because as we watch video, sometimes we just can't take it all in that quickly. The presenter will talk and talk and talk, right? And you kind of catch that and you're like, oh, I really like that. But you don't really stop and digest that actual information. So Edpuzzle makes the students stop, think about that information that they just learned, asks them a question about it, and then we know that they understand what was just said, and we can move on, right? So Edpuzzle, amazing for videos. The other cool thing that I really like is there are so many Edpuzzles or so many videos that have been Edpuzzled, if we'll call it that. And basically that means other teachers are teaching the same thing you're teaching, right? We've got a lot of the same curriculum. So more than likely the top videos that you find on YouTube, another teacher has probably already Edpuzzled it, meaning they've probably already put questions inside a video. So all you need to do is put the video in. It will come up with creating your own or using the 80 some teacher versions that somebody's already done. And so you can just click on those and go, oh, yep, they've got all the key questions that I would have asked inside this video. I'll use theirs. This is a huge time saver tool. This is a done for you tool. I'll talk about done for you tools if you do any of my other trainings. Done for you tools are my favorite. Somebody has already done it. This is what the students need to learn. And we just grab that and we assign it to our students. It is so quick to assign an Edpuzzle. Okay, so you can join by an Edpuzzle account, or they're connected with Google accounts. That's how your students can join. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. We'll jump over to it live here in a few minutes. We've got 2 more left. Pear Deck, and this is peardeck.com if you want more information, but you can just go to your Google Slides. It's a Google Slides add-on, so this is sometimes confusing. It's not a tool by itself. This is a tool that is a Google Slides add-on, so you need to use it within Google Slides. This is interactive presentation questioning. And what all that means is you already have, say, a Google Slides presentation, and you just want to add questions live on top of that. Really easy to do with Pear Deck. It's anonymous student answering. There are limited free questioning options. I think you get free 30 days of like the premium features. But then after that, it's basically like text, multiple choice. But really, I'm okay with that as long as it doesn't limit me, you know, on how many I can ask, which some tools will. They'll give you like 3 questions you can ask in the presentation. This one just limits the type of questions that you can ask. For this one, they can join by code. So once you get your presentation going, a code will pop up for the individual Pear Deck. Pear Deck can also be done individually, where you assign a presentation and they do the answering by themselves, or it can be done live as a class. So both options there. And yeah, we'll jump on over that after we learn about our last one, which is Classroom Screen, classroomscreen.com. So digital engagement tools. This is basically a screen that is up in the background, whether it is in your live classroom, physical classroom, or it is on your online classroom. Okay, so this is things like randomizers, dice. It's basically your virtual lesson plan screen. You can have videos up there. You can have notes up there. You can have text boxes, all these different widgets on your screen, and makes a really great visual for students. The cool thing about this is you don't need an account at all. All you do is press, I think it's like start screen, and we'll check that out. And you've got a screen up and running with all these widget options, randomizers, and roll the dice, and videos. It's really cool. So we'll jump into that. You can change the background on it. You can do an account just like anything. And then I think for free, they let you save 3 screens, I believe, if you have an account. So you don't have to start with a brand new one if you are using it quite a bit. So classroom screen, really cool one. We'll jump over to that one here when we're doing them live. So we're going to now jump into them live. Okay, so we're going to go over to Formative. Now, I don't have time to give like a full-blown lesson on each of these, right? But we can just dive in and look at how it looks inside of the platform. So that's what we're going to do. This is not the full-blown lesson on how to use it. If you're interested in stuff like that, that's what we do inside the Teacher Tech Center, or that's what I can do for professional development for schools, where I can be brought in and we just learn Formative, or we just learn Edpuzzle. Okay, so that can be done, you know, in other ways. This is just a brief overview. You're trying to see which tool maybe would fit your teaching, your lessons the best. This is Formative. This is just a test quiz. So of course, they've got multiple choice. Most of them do. Multiple choice options. I'm going to scroll here through. Now, this is just a PDF of the United States. And what you can see here is I've added questions right on top. I can add questions right on top of here. And they can be numbered like this. This is one example of how to use a PDF. So 2, what state is that? North Dakota. Okay, so I put the correct answer in. Now, since North Dakota should be capitalized, that is the only way that I will accept that as a correct answer. Sometimes you need to go individually grade these, but if that's what this should be, is North Dakota, and that's exactly how it should be spelled with the capitalization correct, then that's the only one that I'm going to type in there as a correct answer. That may not always be the same, but we've got states, so that is true here. So you can see 3. This is Kansas, and this is just a PDF, and all 4 of these questions will come up based on this one picture. Okay. The next one is a show your work example. And this one is, you could use this where you just have a background. It's like a whiteboard. Okay. And they can use all of these tools to show their work. So you just type your question in here, and they need to show their work in whatever way. This could be spelling tests. This could be for an oral spelling test where they need to write their word. Because sometimes when we do a type in the blank, a short answer for a spelling test, when we do it online, it has spell check, right? But if we just send out a white answer board, whiteboard, they have to physically draw, cat or whatever it is. And then they don't have that spell check. So whiteboards, that can be used in a number of ways. Here's an image. And if we want them to actually graph here, so number 6 says complete the graph. This is a worksheet that I would hand out by paper, but if I'm distance learning or I need to do this digitally, or I have a student in quarantine that's quarantined for 2 weeks, I need to be able to get them so they can graph this. And that's where question 6, when they edit that background, they're going to fill in here with a color. Okay, and then I still have questions about these because the rest of these are short answer. So who's grew tallest? And I would accept Randy or Randy's. And you could add more possible answers, or you can just grade this on your own too. Okay, so you can see all of these questions connect with that one worksheet. Here's another one, a show your work one. It's saying circle North Dakota, find it on the map. Circle that background. This is me uploading a PDF to Formative, And inside of this quiz, here's a video. So here's Formative for teachers. I can have them watch a video and then they need to answer questions about it. Or this one, draw your excitement for Formative using the whiteboard, right? So you can see that I've just used this in professional development with teachers before, and they might draw a smiley face or excitement or however. So really easy to add questions. I just click on the plus. So you can see that we can't add audio. We can embed image, text box, video, whiteboard, auto response. You can't do that premium. They can do a free response, multiple choice, multiple selection, no graphing in the free. And then here's the options for short answer, show your work, true, false, and numeric is in the premium. So if you are a math teacher and you really start to like Formative, maybe it's worth looking into what the premium options are. Upload your own content. You can do 20 pages per month, it looks like. So you can put those in there. Short answer. You can see how it adds it. Type your question, add your correct answer. It's pretty easy. Once you're ready to assign, can go up to assign. I would assign it to a specific class. I would set up those settings for that class, and then they would come on with this guess code. And then as the responses come in, I'd be able to see, now they would populate. I'd be able to see each question as they answered. Okay, so I would have all my students coming up, and then I'd be able to live see them as they pop in. And then I can go question by question as my students are completing this, and I can see that they haven't got to question 3 yet, just in this little demo. And I also can see, 92% of them are getting it correct. 88% of them are getting it correct. As I go through with these responses, I can hide the names if you want it to go up on your screen and show your students those options there. And I also can export that data as well. So that is really quick on using Formative, but you can see where that could really be effective. Okay, Flipgrid. So for the classes that I teach, I normally start with an introduce yourself, tell us about yourself, favorite place to visit, what grade are you in, what future career do you want to have? And I set all this up for students. And then this is also their first exposure to Flipgrid, which is kind of cool because they can be really fun with it. It's not quite academic, but in an online classroom, I really like to get to know them and to learn a little bit more about them. So I say, tell us about yourself. This could be things like, favorite place to visit, what grade are you in? It really could be anything. And as students respond to this Flipgrid with their video, I will see their names pop in here. And then I can have it set up to where students can see other people's responses. And you can have it to where they can even go comment in on other people's responses. So you can see academically where we can take that to the next level, where students need to watch everybody else's video, comment on the video, and then create that interaction there. So students get excited because it's a video, but also there are students that don't get excited about this assignment because it's a video. The cool thing is in Flipgrid, when they do a new Flipgrid, they can put a emoji on top of their face, so their face is not even seen, or you can tell them to put their camera down on their work, and then it's just their voice over top. I would definitely start with a pretty easy assignment or pretty easy Flipgrid, those first couple ones, to get them familiar with being on camera. Because that's really intimidating to a lot of students. Even speaking on camera is really intimidating to a lot of students. So encourage that. You can say that, you can put a big emoji on your face if you want, make it fun for them. So this can be questions, this can be book reports, this can be formative assessment. This could be anything demonstration wise to use Flipgrid for. Okay, so this is just a really quick example. And let's see. Okay, looking at time, I better keep moving along. Edpuzzle. Okay. This is that find any video, bring it into Edpuzzle, add the questions, and assign it. So easy. Okay, so let's just pick, I'm just in the Discover tab here. I'm just going to go to chemical reactions here. So I come in, and this one is by another teacher or by another creator. Okay, probably came from YouTube, maybe not. Oh no, this is one that she created herself. And I know that because there's only one other version of it, and it looks like a screenshot. So maybe this isn't a great example, but this is her own version, and maybe you want to use it. But I might go find one that is, let's back up here. Here, let's see about this one. This looks academic. You can see 737 other versions of this video exist. Okay, so this is a really popular one for a chemistry class. All of these little teardrops are questions that stop right there in the timeline of the video. It's only a 4-minute, 23-second video, so pretty quick, which is what we want, right? We don't want them watching hours of video. And they add questions inside of there. So I can go preview any of those questions. They're also over here. The video plays and this question comes up. So it just explained this. And now what do they think it is? The cool thing is if they don't understand, they can rewatch that last little bit. Okay. They can't skip it. So I'm going to skip it because I'm just previewing it as a teacher. But you can see it's playing. And then this question will come up. So there are so many YouTube videos that are already created that are amazing. And sometimes as teachers, we're like, oh, how am I going to teach them this? If only I had a video. You probably do have a video and it's on YouTube. That would be great to teach this. Then you just simply Edpuzzle it. Bam, you got your lesson, right? Okay, so I'm going to skip. I'm going to pause. Let's say I want to use this. Yep, this is the one I want to use. I can just say assign, and I assign it to the class. Easy enough, right? If I want to edit it, I can go up here and click edit. It will create my own version of this one that's already created. So 10 questions are already in there. But then let's say this question, students, we didn't talk about that, or that's not quite what we're studying, or anything along that lines. This, and this is actually a note. You can put notes inside of there. I'll back up a second. Notes are great because if you use somebody else's work, somebody else's questioning, or somebody else's video, it brings the students back to what you as a teacher have already talked about in the classroom. It's like, remember this, remember that we talked about it in this way. This was the example I gave, and then students can recall and go, oh yeah, okay, I can relate to this video now. Those are notes, okay? So if this note doesn't make sense for your class, in class, we will draw the electrons as dots. Both are correct, right? Okay, so this is saying we did dots, this video does X's, same thing, bringing them together so the students are like, what are these X's? What are these dots? What are we doing, right? This is a note personally from the teacher. But if I haven't been doing that as a teacher, I can say that doesn't match what I'm doing in my class right now. And my students will be like, what is that note? I can just delete it. Okay, you can see it's gone. The video will play on. And now here's a multiple choice question. Okay, so I like that. Let's just say that that was that one note that I just needed to delete out of my video, but I liked everything else. You can see the rest are questions. Here's another note. You can, decide if you want that to be in there. Let's say though, I always like to throw a question at the very end, right? So they listen to the very end, and you can tell how long they listen for. Edpuzzle will tell you exactly the percentage of material that they watched. And so let's say I want to add a question in right at the end. I can put my playhead right here, and I can go up to questions and add a multiple choice question. Okay. Or I can add an open-ended question. Okay. So what is something that you learned from this video? Just, easy enough end of video question, making them recall all the information, something like that. Okay. So now once I have all that, I can say finish at the top. And I can assign now my video. You don't see that other person's name. We deleted that note. We added this at the end. I'm ready to assign. And I've got a couple classes. I'll send it to my math second grade, which probably not. They're not doing that. You want to pick a start date and a due date. And then this little button here, my favorite little button, you're going to turn him on. He is your prevent skipping button. So students cannot just skip through to the questions, right? They have to actually watch the video. It pauses for the question, answer question, continue on, right? So this is a great little button. Now, if you send out a video, that they've watched a few times and you've already done this and you want them to be able to, scroll through the video to fill out a study guide or whatever they're doing, you can turn that off. But this is a cool little button because it makes them watch it. You can assign this if you have multiple sections of the same class. You can also assign it to multiple sections. With Edpuzzle, you do need to have your students set up as a class. They won't come in as a code. So you do need to have them set up already as a class before you can assign to them. And I would just press assign when I'm done. The other way that we can do this is live, where we can assign this and go live with this specific video. And all that means is we are going to watch the video together as a class, and each individual student will still respond to all the individual questions, but the video will be up on your board and not individually on their devices. So you can also do this as a group. Maybe your groups of 3, and each group is responsible for answering. Okay. But the video does not come up on their own device. It comes up in one place at the front of your room, or it comes up through, let's say, Zoom. You're screen sharing that one video, and then students are individually answering. Okay. When you assign this way, they watch it on their own. So you can do it both ways, live or individual assignment. Okay. Cool thing, they have so many different videos with Edpuzzle. It really is a done for you tool. When you go to your library, your My Content, you get 20 videos shared in here with the free account. So that's a tip. You only get 20 free videos in here. If you find that you're running out of videos, like I've got this video 3 times in here, and I need more video space, I can just click on these and this and delete them. So I get my content down to 20. Since the majority of the videos that you're probably using are, already Edpuzzled by another teacher, to me, it's not that big of a deal for me to be deleting my Edpuzzled videos. If you've created your own videos, your own teachings, like that first one that we saw where that teacher, I'm guessing she's a teacher, does her own, then she probably wants a premium account because she is creating her very own videos. She's adding, this is where you'd add your own content, upload a video right here, and putting the questions inside of there. That's different than us just using this YouTube video, probably somebody else's 11 questions and notes and assigning it, right? We didn't actually take the time to put those in there, but these teachers that have already done this, the 144 teachers that have already done this, they probably have the same questions that we would ask from the video, right? And you can see a little bit of the difference if you want to click through these. This one has 9 questions, this one has 6, and 2 audio notes from the teacher. A lot of these have 11. It wouldn't surprise me if the ones that have 11 are exact copies of the one before that they saw. Okay. Easy enough on Edpuzzle. Really great tool. Okay, running over to Pear Deck. So again, this is a Google Slides add-on, not its own tool. We use it on top of Google Slides. So if you already have a Google Slides presentation and you just want to make it interactive, then this one is for you. So basically you can see you open the Pear Deck add-on through the add-ons menu, and you can see that here. You're going to open it up. Then you'll see it come in here on the right. Then you will click on your next slide. So this is like an information slide. That's just a really quick example. Information slide will come up. Then you add your own interactive questioning, and then you say present the lesson. So I'm talking about North Dakota today. We're learning about North Dakota. And I probably wouldn't throw out that much information in on one slide for students to digest, right? But it's just a really quick example. So information slide, then here's a question slide. I've already asked a question. I've already Pear Decked this slide. And then that's what would come up for students. What is the capital of North Dakota? So let's say I want to add another question about what I asked here. I can just say add new slide. And let's ask, what is the biggest city in North Dakota? Okay, and in order to Pear Deck it or to add that question on top, I just click on this because I want a text option. You can see that it's adding it on top of there. And then this comes up to show us that this is a Pear Decked slide. Okay. Now, when I go into presenting this, when I'm ready with these questions, I can say start lesson. They can do this student paced or instructor paced, either one. Let's say it's instructor paced. Students then will get a code that they need to type in. They're going to go to joinpd.com and type in that code. Okay, and I can actually do this on another device. So let me just jump in there quick. It's auto-correcting my code. Okay. Here I am. There I am. Okay, I've got one student and I'm going to start the class once I get all my students in here. So you would just delete this slide, right? You wouldn't need to present this to your students. So I teach about North Dakota. We're learning about it. I'm explaining this information, teaching, and then I get to this question. And you can see that I'm just doing it quick on my phone. This is what comes up for students. Same thing that I see there. I can answer the question, say done, and now I can show responses as the teacher. Okay, so if I go to the next one, what is the biggest city in North Dakota? I'm going to answer the question, and I hope that as I show responses, you can see that one's typing, coming in. And I hope that I'm getting Fargo. They understand the information. Now, let's say that I don't have a question in there, but I want to all of a sudden add this new question in here because I just thought of something. Oh, I should ask them about this. Do they understand this? I can just go to new prompt, and they do have some prompts already in here that are pretty cool if you want to play around with those. Some of them are premium, so you'll just have to watch that. And here's these ones at the end, the text, drawing, number. So these are kind of cool to use. So I can just throw out something in the middle of a lesson, even if I didn't already put that question inside of my presentation, which is really powerful, which also tells us that we don't technically need, I'm going to end this, and without naming, we don't technically need a whole Google Slides presentation. We can start Pear Deck on its own and just add new prompts, right? And get the information that we need. If you're just using it for formative assessment, what do they know, right? I don't need a whole presentation. You can just use it as a way to grab responses from your students too, which is kind of cool. So if you're doing it that way, it's just a blank presentation. They jump in the code, and you just say new prompt, new prompt, new prompt, right? With all the questions that you want to know. So that's kind of cool on how to use this. Now, one word of, I guess, caution, or when you're setting this up, is that if you are using Google accounts, your Google administrator for your school will need to add this add-on as an option for your account. So they need to go in and allow Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on. So it will show up here if you are using a school account up here. It won't just let you get add-ons in your Google account, Google School account. Our very last one is Classroom Screen. And this just makes it, it's so cool. I just can't get over it. You don't even need an account. You just literally press launch and it brings up this random screen, or I should say random background. It's not a random screen. It's a random background each time. You can certainly change that right here. You can change it to a different color, different picture. They even have animations where they move, which are sometimes a little too much for me and maybe a student too, but it is an option. You can turn your webcam on. You can make your own backgrounds, okay? And just put those in there. So here's a random name generator. Mary, Ben, Ty, George. And maybe you've got one of these up here. If you roll the dice to decide things, you've got these options. And all these widgets, you can move around. You can also make them smaller, you know, larger, really big, whatever. You know, so let's say I'm going to choose, maybe we're just adding. Okay, so we're choosing Mary. What is this? 6 + 2. And then she answers 6 + 2, right? Okay, so that's just a quick example. There's so many different ways you could do this. Then I choose another student, right? And they're going to do the next one, okay? You also can do sound level, which is good. And I'd have to allow my mic. Apparently I'm too loud. I would need to bring it down a little bit. But this could be for a classroom, sound level, sensitivity, max noise, okay? Media, this is just images, YouTube videos, okay? Those can be right inside. All of these widgets also have this gearbox, which is a settings for that specific widget. All of them will be different. So you can go into the settings if you're looking for something more specific. QR code, a drawing option if you need to draw something, okay? A text option. So maybe this is their reminder, make sure to turn in yesterday's assignment before you leave today. Okay, maybe that is just, you know, over here as like a reminder. Maybe it's the instructions, what they should be doing right now in group work. And then we have this traffic light up here. I like to use the traffic light where stop means that they're listening to what the teacher is saying or what their instructions are. Yellow, actually I'll go to green first. Green means we're going, we're in group work, everybody's working together. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. The instructions are here. Yellow means you've got a minute left, whatever it is. Stop means come back to me. We're all done with our work today. Or, you know, the teacher needs to say something like that. I like to use these stoplights because it gives a visual to students of where we're at. And then in addition to that, I would add a timer. So let's say it's go, they've got 10 minutes to do this, or let's say 5, I can turn it on. This is stations. And then once it gets down to a minute, I change it to yellow and I just announce yellow light. They know they have a minute left, and stop when that goes off. They will also hear a chime that plays or any of these audio clips. So I like the Mario one, but that's just me. So when they hear Mario in my classroom, they know that it's time to stop and we need to come back together as a class. Put down your pencils. The other cool thing I like about this widget specifically is for stations. I can tell this timer to repeat 3 times and it knows I want a 5-minute timer on top of a 5-minute timer again and again. And so I'm able to not have to go restart that timer each time we do a 5-minute station, and 5-minute station is probably pretty quick, right? Maybe it's a 10-minute station, but each time they're going to hear an audio cue that says rotate, and then it automatically starts again for me. So you can see how this classroom screen would be really effective in an online environment where this is your screen, what you're showing to your students while they're working independently at home, or live in person. This classroom screen can be really effective because it keeps everybody on track, whether it's group work or individual work, or using it live presenting where we were adding the dice. It's very interactive because students don't know if their name is going to be, chose. And then you've got, this randomization of dice for adding. That was just a quick example. It's also a clock, a calendar, stopwatch. And then you can put any number up here. So I can just keep adding any number of widgets up here, no matter if it's, 3 dice or whatever it needs to be. Okay, that's classroomscreen.com, free, no account, really cool. And you got some options over here too for some settings. If you don't want to see your tools, you can just click that down arrow and they come right back up to add more options. So those are the widgets on classroom screen, really cool and effective tool to use. I'm going to jump back over to the presentation, and I want to do just 2 more. So don't forget about Kahoot. I know it's an old one. I know that it's not always our favorite one, right? Because it's been used again and again and again, but it can be really effective because students do get excited about competition. Okay, so don't forget about Kahoot. Also, if you're not familiar with Padlet, it's basically, we've got like boards, sticky notes up on one board. So it's great for collaboration in on one idea, and students are able to bring their ideas all together in on one board or as a class. So Padlet, it's a really cool one too. So these are your 5, now 7 EdTech engagement tools: Formative, Padlet, Kahoot, Flipgrid, Edpuzzle, Classroom Screen, Pear Deck. All really, really cool ones to go check out and add to your learning. So again, my name is JC Erickson. If you want to get in contact with me, here's my information. Here's my website, integratedteacher.com, to get more information. And if you want to join the Facebook community, Every Teacher Tech Ready, you can search that out, join me there. And I post every now and then on free resources. I also send out a Tuesday tech tip that I highlight in here, but you can get that sent to your email. I'll tell you in a bit how to do that. I have the Teacher Tech Center. We learn, collaborate, and we get support. That's just been the biggest thing. Yeah, you get to learn and do the workshops and get the inside scoop on things, all things EdTech, but you get the support. You get to actually bring in your individual questions. So if you want to know how to join that, you can certainly email me. Podcast, we'll see if this gets up and running. Would be really fun to do, but of course, time and everything. So you might see that in the future. If you want to get today's presentation and the tech guides emailed to you, just go to tinyurl.com/5edtech-tools, and you're going to get this presentation in PDF sent to you. And then you're also going to get a welcome email from me that has my favorite EdTech tools that are for teachers. So most of them on that list are free to use. So if you want that, just go to tinyurl.com/5edtech-tools or /5edtech-tools. You can get signed up there. And that's also where you will get the Tuesday tech tips. So it has been a pleasure teaching you today, working with you today. If you have any questions about educational technology, integrating things in the classroom, I get a lot of questions. It could be, I'm doing this lesson, what would be a way to spice this up with technology? Or my students, really like to do this type of thing. What can we add technology-wise to really get them engaged in this lesson? It really could be anything. I get questions across the board, and then we talk about how to integrate them, the easiest way to integrate them, and what tools would really match them well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you again, and thank you for your dedication to education. we don't get to, hear that a lot. And so thank you for what you do for our students and what you do for our future generations. So have a great school year.